This show is part of the HeadStuff Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome back to The Date in Orange. This week's guest is Samantha Keating. She's the founder of Your Friend, My Friend, a company that runs singles events across Ireland. And she spends a lot of time bringing people together in real life, which means that she has seen some things. We had a great chat about the mad and sometimes kind of baffling things that happen when single people are trying to find a partner. We look at the differences between how men and women go about dating and how Gen Z and millennials seem to be playing by completely different rule books. The differences between meeting somebody in real life versus on an app, and how so many people think that they're so ready to meet somebody, but they're definitely not. We also talk about the challenges of getting men to come along to singles events in the first place, despite loads of them saying that they do really want to meet someone. So where are you, lads? Here's Sam. Sam, welcome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Will you give us a little bit of background on Your Friend, My Friend, and how it all came to be?
Yeah, so Your Friend, My Friend was never meant to be a business. So I was on maternity leave with my first and I was bored, surprisingly. And one of my friends had moved here from Canada and she was sick of the dating apps. And I said, let's throw a speed dating night and I'll be the best wing woman. And so we did. We donated money to charity and she ended up meeting her boyfriend at the event. They're not together anymore, but she did meet a boyfriend.
She actually got a boyfriend from it. That is amazing. Yeah. And then you were like, oh, I'm good at it. So.
Yes. Well, people just kept asking us, when's the next event? What are you doing next? And so we did a singles party, then more speed dating nights, and it just kind of blew up from there.
She met her boyfriend from it after you just willy-nilly throwing together an event and having no experience in singles nights or anything like that before. I think that's absolutely amazing. How many men turned up?
We had 20 men and 20 women.
Jeez, that's great going.
Yeah, it was great.
And yeah, so since then you have, what did you say, 150 events a year now?
Yeah, 150 events running across Ireland. It's lots of people.
You have a day job as well though. And I just can't understand how you were able, now you're pregnant, about to pop with your third child.
You could be delivering a baby
right now.
On this podcast.
Amazing. That's some podcast that would be. And a full-time job and also 150 events.
Yeah.
That is insane. But your husband helps you a bit, does he?
He does. He's really good at dealing with me because I'm a bit mental. And before any event, I'm just constantly stressed about men coming to the event, buying tickets, who's going to show up. Because we do get a no-show rate. People on the day of the events get nervous. They might be sick. And I always just want people to have the best experience possible. And for me, it's, having enough people there, good quality people that you can actually match with. And so I'm constantly a stress case.
No-show rates. So what, say... 10 people bottle it last minute. How many people would go to each event? It all, I suppose, depends on which venue it is, but what we're looking at, 50,
so
100?
Normally speed dating, we do about between 20 to 24 dates. So we always book at least, as if you're going to hit 25 dates, but sometimes it might be as low as 20 dates because 10 people might not show up.
Okay.
It also depends on the day. So if it's a Friday evening, we'll always overbook the men because a lot of guys will go out for pints with their mates after work and then
just not turn up.
And just not turn up.
Oh, they're so annoying.
I know. But they are true to form. So now they're so predictable that they will do that we know how to deal with it.
And deal with it.
Yeah.
What do you do with this whole, the men thing? What do you think is wrong with the men?
In general,
full stop, question mark. That they just don't turn up to events, or that they give out about not having dates. An often thing I would hear is that women, I don't get enough women swiping back for me on dating apps and things like that, but they don't put themselves forward the way that women would. What do you think is the crack there?
Well, I think on dating apps, it's totally skewed because I think Tinder released the stats that 65% of the people on dating apps are men and 35% are women. Oh. And I think men seem to have this idea that at singles events, it's going to be all guys and a couple of women, when really the women's, as you can see from all the events, the women's tickets always sell out first, within minutes sometimes, and it's the women are so good at booking ahead, planning, going with their friends, and the men are, I think sometimes might be too much pressure for them to think I'm making myself so vulnerable by saying I want to meet someone.
Yes.
I want to go to an event. Maybe it's a bit of a blow to their ego. They think, oh, I'll just go to a pub with my mates and I'll meet somebody. But it doesn't happen anymore. The pub scene has changed. The bar scenes have changed. People don't mingle as much, when you just go out with your mates. People aren't drinking as much anymore. So that's why our events, we try to do different things like the Singles Run Club, where it's much more casual. And I always say to people, even if you don't meet your husband or wife at it, you got your run in.
It's a good social event.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You're probably chatting away, making friends or whatever.
Absolutely.
And do you find that there's a lot of the same people coming back to each event? Maybe the run clubs, I'd say, that probably a lot of people.
we got a good few coming to the run clubs, but the run clubs are 100, 120 people sometimes. So there's always like a good change in different faces, different people. Like when I say a good few, I'd say maybe 5 or 10 people would come to the run clubs over and over. Speed dating, then you might see 1 or 2 come to a few different events, but the age range has always changed. So there's always new faces, always new people. And it's just a great way to meet somebody in person.
I'm trying to think about the events of yours. I went to 3 of your events. So one of them was a singles night, just only a singles night. Another one was actually a singles and speed dating event.
Yes.
Speed dating event was upstairs. And it was only like a mini one. It was real quick. Then the final one was speed dating only.
Yes.
And I quite like the speed dating.
Yeah.
I think like it forces you, if you're a little bit shy or whatever, to rotate. I feel like if you're in a room with a load of people, like I wouldn't be approaching anyone. So I'm totally relying on the men. And the men probably go and think they're all relying on me to go around. And, you'd see a few of the quieter men maybe standing at the wall, just kind of stand there. And I'm like, God bless them. They're putting themselves out there by being here, but they're not able, I suppose, to kind of do that final push of actually go up and talk to people. Whereas with the speed dating,
well, it's different events based on what you like to do, what you're comfortable with. Exactly. So the speed dating's great because you speak to everybody there. Every guy speaks to every girl there. And so many times we get women say, if I had seen him on an app, I probably wouldn't have swiped right on him. When I spoke to him, he's really funny. He's really charismatic. Just the topics that we were chatting about, you can immediately feel that vibe, that energy. But she's like, I probably wouldn't, if I had just seen a flat photo of him, maybe I wouldn't have been interested in him. She's like, I'm actually really interested in them. And it just gives you that opportunity to talk to new people. And even if it's not going to turn into some relationship, you're still talking to people, a stranger that you never met, learning about what they do, their jobs, their hobbies. And it's interesting.
Yeah,
I think if you go in with a mindset of just, it's about meeting new people rather than I need to meet someone, it makes a big difference.
That brings me on to the point of like dating apps versus in-person singles events or whatever. The dating apps, like what can you learn about somebody in person that you just won't find in an app?
I think their energy. Like somebody's energy is the biggest thing. And we notoriously know men are not good at taking photos of themselves and, presenting themselves. And dating apps, it's not really who you are. It's either who you think you are or who you want to be portrayed as. Yeah. And so you're putting together this, really curated view of yourself and, these prompts and things. Whereas when you're in person, there's no hiding, there's no catfishing, there's no saying you're 6'2" when you're really 5'8". There's no, you can't lie. So you are who you are. And I think you also make the other person a human being. So I find there's less ghosting, there's less,
more accountability.
BS. Yeah, exactly. There's more accountability there. Whereas on a dating app, you're talking to so many people and it's so easy to just dismiss somebody or, discount them because they said something that maybe you're not vibing with and, you just cut off the conversation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think about like on Hinge and Tinder, whatever, like there was a period there, like I totally portrayed myself to be an Instagram hun, like, and I don't know why I did it. When I look back at the pictures that I use now, and they were also so posed on nights out when I was dressed up to the nines and in my little outfit and heels and my little bag and everything. And like, there'd be like the odd one with me and my dog or whatever, but there was a good period there where I thought, this is the best version of me. And this is the version that I'm going to put out here because I think that this is when I'm the best looking and like on a night out, but it's actually not a proper reflection of me at all. And the type of men then that I was getting from that actually weren't the men that I wanted at all. And they wouldn't have vibed with my actual life, you know?
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, these dating apps, they are a tech company. They're a business that needs to make money and needs to grow profit year on year. And, you know, I think at the beginning, it probably had a good heart behind this and to connect people.
Yeah.
But now it's these algorithms and the AI and the, you know, you constantly have to upgrade to see more people in the roses and the prompts. And they're just too much. It's so complicated now. Whereas just put a bunch of people that are single in one room and there will be matches. There will be people who couple off.
People would have such a better time if, you know, if it wasn't even called a singles night, if it didn't have the word singles in it, right? If you just stuck them in there. Just by the way, we're not trying to hook you up.
Yeah,
just put them
in a room.
It's nothing to do with being single at all, and you'll see how much more comfortable people are then and how much they mesh. But it's funny about like dating app versus reality and like how much more you would like somebody if you just met them in person versus on the app, because like you hear the way they talk or they walk or just there's like stature. Or the way they laugh, or just general things, how they smell, and all these things that you're like, oh, like I take notice of them now. Whereas on an app, you'd be like, oh, whatever, you know, not loving that.
And, you know, you could be chatting with somebody for weeks on an app and then meet them in person, and within the 5 minutes you could know, oh, not for me. Exactly. And it's just, and now people are using AI to help them in their texting and back and forth, and then you meet them in person, they're so dry. I just wasted so much time.
That was not around in my 2.5 years ago when I was on the apps. It wasn't there. Thank God.
Yeah.
Could you imagine like somebody's all their crack was like them typing into ChatGPT, like come up with a funny quip back to this.
Exactly. And then when you meet them in person, there's nothing there, and you have no common ground, and it's just what a waste of time. And then to start over each time is just. It's soul destroying. It
is soul destroying, yeah. Like my fiance, horrible. It's like I hate it. It's so cringy, but they definitely wouldn't have swiped right on him.
Yeah,
I don't recall coming across his profile, but I looked it up when we were on our like second date. I was like, show me it there, and yeah, there wasn't anything. I was just like, just another fella. You know, there was nothing there. But it's so funny how like you really do need somebody's personality to kind of pop out at you from like that's why you need to make your dating app or dating profile, I suppose, really reflect you and say funny things or good pictures or whatever.
Well, we're so quick nowadays to make judgments on people. You know, I even see it, even at the in-person events, at speed dating, you only get 5 minutes. And some people will come up to me after and say, 5 minutes was too short. And I said, well, that means it was a good date. You know, sometimes 5 minutes can be very long. Exactly. And I was like, use the break, use after, you know, to chat with them if you're interested in them. And like we do all the work, so if it's a match, then we send you each other's phone numbers. And I had a lady actually write into me a couple of weeks ago, and she said that she came to one of our speed dating events. She met this guy and she thought he was lovely, but she just felt that their lives wouldn't, you know, match, and they're just on different pages. And anyways, after the event, she stayed around at the bar and she had a drink, and he came over to her table and he was chatting away with her. And he had said to her, he's like, well, I hope we matched. She kind of made a coy remark like, oh, who knows? And she knew she hadn't said yes to him. And she emailed me that night and asked me to change her card and say yes to him. And so I changed it, and then they matched, and she texted him right away, and they've been together ever since now.
What?
And they're so happy, and they're like, I cannot imagine my life without him. And
my God, amazing.
I know. And it's just stories like that just make you feel so warm. And, you know, we're so quick to make judgments on people and dismiss them nowadays. And because we think there's so much choice, but there actually isn't, you know. That's the difference, I think. So many people now use these terms of red flags, and, you know, there's so many catchy phrases, but you have to look. What is a red flag? Is it just something you don't like? Can it be changed? Can there be compromise? What qualities are you looking for in a partner? Because I've never heard somebody who's been in a relationship for 20 years saying, if you ask them, you know, what's your favorite thing about them? It's not going to be he's 6'2". It's going to be he's loyal. He's, you know, a good partner. He's kind. You know, it's qualities in them, not about their looks that spark that.
The height thing, it just kills me. The height kills me. And I'd say, like, are there people turning up to your singles nights then? You know, obviously they pay. How much is it? What are we?
The singles party is usually about €50.
Okay. Singles, all like arranged run clubs. Are they all? Is there
No,
kind
the
of-
run clubs are 17.
All right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, geez, and you get access to way more people on it. But I suppose then, like they've paid for it, and they're probably paying with the expectation that they are going to meet
Yes.
somebody. And do they
Yeah.
come back at you then?
Oh yeah. Like, and some people actually think they're going to meet their husband or wife, and the higher the ticket price, the more they feel they deserve to meet someone. And sometimes I always say to the women are so good at buying tickets and with groups of friends, but the women also treat it like it's their night out, and they'll come in and they'll sit together in a group of 5 or 6 in a little booth in the corner
Oh,
and
stop.
chat and have their drinks, which is great if you want to catch up with your girlfriends. But if you're trying to meet a man,
Who's going to approach you?
no, exactly. And so I always say, just come on your own, come with one friend. And even if you're with a couple friends, take laps on your own, walk around, be open to meeting someone. Because if you're in this little group huddled together, looking out every once in a while, nobody's approaching you.
Like the people that come to it, do you think that they're, they come to it and you would assume that if you're signing up, and the same with me in the matchmaking, you would assume that the people who are signing up, they are ready to rock. They're like, like I'm good to go. I'm a good person. I'm really in this. I'm invested. If you put me, if I go to your singles nights or if you matchmake me, I'm all for it. Like, do you think these people come ready? Like, are they ready to date? Are they ready for a relationship?
I think they're ready. Like some people are ready, absolutely. But I think a lot of people are just so used to the dating app culture where, it's so easy to go on a date next. But I do think the people who come to our events are much more intentful with their dating because you're making yourself really vulnerable by coming to an event. You're physically putting yourself out there, especially if you're coming on your own. And a lot of the men do come on their own or with a friend. The women tend to come in groups. Yeah. But you are making yourself vulnerable because you're saying, I'm single. I want to meet someone. I'm paying money to be at this event. And everyone is really nervous coming in. But within minutes, everyone's in the same boat. So they're really friendly, really outgoing. But we say to people, make sure you're ready, like do the work on yourself, make sure you're in a good space and, don't be ghosting people or giving out your number if you don't want to and then not responding to them and, just trying to get as many matches. We'll often get people message us after speed dating asking like, oh, how many matches did other people get? It's like, it doesn't matter.
Cheeky.
Yeah. It's like, you just need, like, if you get one match, that's great. You just need to speak to one person. That's it. In the end, you just need to find one. And so, yeah, it's so much comparing.
I went to one of the speed dating events. And this will lead me into my next question, actually, about that exclusive event that you had run. Mm-hmm. But I went to one of the speed dating events, chatting to a lovely fella, didn't have a lick of English. He had actually only arrived over a few weeks prior from, I can't remember where he was he Romanian or something anyway. Lovely and friendly anyway. And I actually said to him, I can't talk to you. Like, the two of us are not speaking the same language. And, bless him anyway. He wanted to find, a woman in the new country that he was in. Whatever he seemed fine and friendly. But it's funny how, like, you will get people from, I suppose, different backgrounds. You'll get, different walks of life, not different ages, I suppose, because you're generally putting them in, like, what, kind of 25 to 40, is it?
Usually a 10-year age for speed dating, but then the larger parties, we kind of do all ages because there's, could be 400 people there.
Like, there could be country people, city people, like, solicitors, tradesmen, like, whatever, all kind of going into the one thing. And I had seen that you had made an exclusive night out where you had handpicked the people yourself.
Yeah, it was a curated event.
Curated.
Yeah.
So you would look and you'd think, right, I'm going to pick these people because actually these people would all tend to gravitate towards all these other people. So if they're all in a room together, the chances of it going well are very high. Mm-hmm. So when you did that then, I don't think you had another one after that. So I wonder, how did it go?
It went really well. Like when we actually held the event, that event had a lot of really good success rate and matches. But the amount of work it took to, one, get all these people to fill out the surveys and then manually go through and match, okay, I think, these guys would be great with these girls and this, because for me, I think matchmaking in general needs to be modernized a bit. We're so busy in our lives and for somebody who doesn't know you to matchmake you, it's a very hard job. And there's so much personal taste involved there. And so often I'll be at a singles event or a speed dating event and I'll think two people are a great match and they have no interest in each other.
Yeah,
And it's just, I thought there was a good vibe, good energy, but I guess they didn't. And so I thought, if we put 40 men and 40 women that are all, similar ages, similar lifestyles, similar interests in a
Chances are
room,
good.
the chances are good. And they were really good, but it just took so much work. And I think, because of that, the ticket price was a bit higher, it was €60, but it included food and a drink. But people only see that €60 as, well, I just went to a singles party and I got food and a drink. They don't see hours and hours and hours
The
of
work that
the
you put
work
in,
that
yeah.
puts into matching all these people. And so, and I do have a full-time job and 2 kids at home. And so I was up late at 2 a.m. and I'm on my computer, like trying to figure out, who's going to match with who.
Compatible with
And
who,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Like my matchmaking now, I can't remember how, I was going to say that I matchmade about 12 couples maybe so far. And everyone basically says, they had a nice time and they can totally see why they were matchmade, like, and that's fine. But 2 men have ghosted afterwards.
Isn't that horrible?
What is wrong with them?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Like, you got me involved in this now.
Exactly. And you
Fuck's
feel like
sake.
you're the one who ghosted them.
Yes.
Because it's your responsibility.
That is such bad form. And one of the men was he 46? And
my God.
he had been on the dating scene for about 2 years and he had been married for something like 20 years or something before that. And then he was just like, and he was apologetic to me when we had our Zoom call to say that he didn't mean to ghost her, but he had gone 3 days the first time and then he texted her back and then it had been over a week or something the second
God,
time.
yeah.
So she was already being slowly ghosted. She had already been on the line for like 2 weeks after when they were just kind of chit-chatting about setting up a second date. And she was a lovely woman, very healthy and ready to date and everything like that.
Yeah,
She had a good head on
yeah.
her shoulders. And I just had to like explain to him what ghosting was. And he said, I didn't know. I said, but is it not basic manners?
Yeah.
Like-
Just have some emotional intelligence. Like, think about it from the other person's perspective, so.
They're there wondering, like, we're talking about setting up a second date, but you're kind of like not replying and giving really cold answers. But like people, I suppose, need to look at their own like actual actions. How are you treating the other person? Are you even, making conversation? Or in person, is your body language really off?
Yeah.
It's funny how people just, I suppose, they think they're single and it's through absolutely no fault of their own, but often it is through fault of your own.
Oh, absolutely. And it's so funny. I see such a difference in how the Gen Zs date versus how millennials date. And the Gen Zs are actually so emotionally intelligent and they're polite and they're on time to events and they're great. They're actually amazing. And so many of like the millennial men, I will say, it's incredible. At speed dating, you get, let's say, 20 dates. They go in order from 1, 2, 3, 4. The number of times that these men just stand up and look so lost in a room, and you're like, what comes after 4, 5? And it's just, you have to guide them. And I'm like, how is this so hard? It's just going around the circumference of
grasping the
like
circle?
you're following the same person around the room. Like, it's not that difficult. And it's just like, I think a lot of these men, like, they do need a woman in their life, and like it's just it's
To show them,
just
show
how
them
to count
the ropes. Have you got any funny or mad stories from the events?
Well, one of my favorites is this was probably about 2 years ago. We held a wine tasting event, and 2 weeks later, this woman emailed me. She was at the wine tasting event in Dublin, and I was like, oh no, it was a long email. I was like, oh no, what happened? What went wrong?
Oh no.
And when you get those emails, immediately my heart dropped.
Yeah.
And so I was reading it. She's like, I was at the wine tasting event. It was really good, really enjoyed myself. A good group of us went out for drinks after. And she's like, I was talking to this one guy and we got on well. He asked me for my number, gave it to him. We went on a date, had a great time. He asked me out on the second date, and in my head, I'm like, where is this
Where's it
leading to?
going?
Yeah. She's like, we went on a second date. She's like, the issue is, I don't know his name.
Oh,
She's like-
hilarious.
And she's like, for the life of me, I don't know his name. She's like, the second date, she asked him to book dinner, and she's like, I'll get there early. And then when he comes in, he'll tell the hostess his name. And so then I'll
over here.
Yeah, exactly. And But he was already there when she arrived, and he was early for the date himself. And she's like, I really like him. But she's like, I'm in too deep. She's like, I actually know his dog's name. I don't know his name. And
Stuff that was way too deep after the second date. And you say, sorry, the whole time I haven't had a clue what your name is. Oh,
yeah,
no.
I know. So basically, we came up with this plan of, she said she was going to, they had a third date in the books, but she was going to plan drinks beforehand and have one of her friends be at the bar, and they were going to walk in and bump into her friend, and her friend would be like, oh my God, amazing. Like, what? Nice to meet you. I'm so-and-so. And then he would introduce himself. And it actually worked. And so,
oh, happy days.
And she was so happy.
What
and
a good friend.
they're actually still together. I don't know if he knows the story, so I hope he's not listening. But
very crafty.
Yeah,
very good.
no, it's
That's
great.
so
It's-
funny, getting the friend involved. Yeah, no, if I was on a third date now and the fella said to me, sorry, this whole time I actually do not know your name. She's like, how would you feel? You're just like, oh, okay, no matter.
I know. We've had Nikki, one of our girls that does the speed dating for us. She told me that I wasn't at this event, but basically this guy came in from work. He must have been hungry. He ordered a plate of nachos right before the speed dating started, and then proceeded to take the nacho plate from table to table for each date. And I was like, and would offer the girls nachos.
Oh, bless
Like,
him.
I would be happy
Oh,
if I got a bit,
God.
like a bit of grub, you know.
Oh,
But
what a funky fella.
yeah,
Fair play to
Like,
him.
if you're
He's
hungry, you're hungry.
confident. He's hungry. He's like,
Yeah.
girls, do you want some nachos?
yeah.
Some
we-
girl would lap that right up.
Absolutely. Then we had this one girl message me. It was around just before Valentine's Day, and she had been to her speed dating in January, met a fella there. They'd been on a few dates. Nothing was exclusive, but she messaged me saying that she really wanted to go to our Valentine's event, but she wasn't sure if he was going to the Valentine's event because they hadn't made any exclusive talks. She didn't want it to be awkward. So could I check if he had bought a ticket? And if he had, block him and tell him he can't come to the event so she could come with her friends. I was like, I am not
Hardly.
going to do
What
that.
did you say? You have to try and send something back, like
Yeah.
very diplomatically. Like,
Yeah.
I'm afraid to know that would be a breach of.
Yeah. I was like, just, I guess, the confidence in some of these
I know.
people.
The
It's
gall.
incredible.
I have a story for you that happened. And I think I might have texted you about this at the time, but I wanted to bring it back up because I think it's so funny. And I actually never said it either on the podcast or on TikTok, that I had gone to that speed dating event of yours in the Hill. And I'd gone with a friend of mine. And now I did something really silly anyway. And like this is, and I wouldn't recommend that anybody obviously do this, but I was so not used to the situation that I didn't want to write in between the men. So I didn't write down any little note or anything to say that I liked them or I didn't. I said I'll be able to remember every single man. And when it gets to the interval, I will write the notes then. So I didn't really remember. And I was trying to be like, oh yeah, he came after him. And what did we talk about? Oh yeah, he was nice though. Yeah, okay. Like, you know, this kind of way. Anyway, so in the end, I can't remember. I'd say there was definitely 25 dates, I'd say at that maybe. And I said yes to, I think, 3 men, and I matched with one. And the one that I did match with was a teacher, a specific type of teacher. And he also matched with my friend. But my friend had matched with another fella who she had been gunning for. And so she had absolutely no interest in the teacher then. She said she wasn't even going to reply to him. Basically, he had emailed the two of us with the exact same email. And then that turned me off straight away, that I think he probably couldn't really tell us apart or what we had talked about or anything like that, because he had made references both to, you know, God, what a mad experience, such an interesting chat with you, can't wait, you know, hopefully we can meet you again and continue our chats. And I was like, well, do you remember what the interesting chats were at all? Or
What about it did you like?
Specify in bullet point. So then I said, I actually don't want to see him again, but I'm not going to ghost him like her. And he, good fella, smart, educated, totally fine, decent looking, whatever, everything was fine. But then I replied to him and said basically that I was busy. I think I said I was in some other country or something for a week and I would get onto him when I got back. Right? That was my little way of just stopping it where it was. And he was like, yeah, no problem, whatever. Then the dating orange put up a video about the experience of the Hill
of course,
on it.
yes.
And he managed to deduce from that anyway that it was me, which then he had my email address of like my real self. And he emailed again and said, the dating orange, ? Laughing face, good luck. or something like that. And then I was like, oh,
his ego was bruised.
what happened? I was actually perfectly nice to you. I wasn't even going to ghost you like she was, for fuck's sake. But I'm like, what? The Date in Orange, like the video that I did was literally like just to let people know, like you can go to these singles events. This is kind of what you would expect. You walk around like this, blah, blah, blah. It was a bit of crack. Fine. But he obviously, I'd say he saw that video, thinks that's the girl that I matched with. Even though I don't really know what I think it was the particular place where I was sitting that he sussed me from. After that then, so I replied and was like, ? Okay then, laughing face. Or something, I can't remember. It was just like, just leave me alone. And then a couple of months later, he liked me on Hinge, but liked that very specific picture of me and that girl that I was at that event with. So he was doing it on purpose to like antagonize me. And then he just like annoyed me then. Then I thought, you're actually, like he's purposely trying to make a point of like, I know who you are kind of a thing. With the singles nights, I enjoyed them in general. But it's funny that like he would look at my page and say that, oh no, she goes on dates with men and like she talks about them. Whereas then my fiance now, obviously I met him through the page and he was just like, oh, that's cool. Like whatever, she goes on dates and like would look at it as more of like an interesting perspective for a man to see a woman going out and dating and never thought about it as a kind of a slight towards men or that it was a fucked up
somebody
thing to
that's
do.
actually confident in themselves, happy with themselves and supportive of.
Exactly, yeah. And he was just like, oh yeah, well sure, like it's nice for men, I suppose, to see like what it's like for women to be dating, and it's funny, and you know maybe people can learn something from it. And then there'd be often a lot of men who would look at it and think, who does she think she is to go on a date with a man and document it?
How dare she?
How dare she
give her own opinion and her own experience?
What do you think, like, if you had to give some hard truths to people, I say you see an awful lot of different people who maybe kind of, if you had to hold a mirror up to them, people who are single people who are out there looking for love, what is a hard truth that you feel like you should give?
I think so many people look for this spark and they put so much emphasis on this spark, this, immediate attraction. And, that's really just lust, or that's, a lot of people aren't looking for the right things. And a lot of people are looking for the right things. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think anybody really wants advice from a married woman, 3 kids, But for us, what we see at the events is people are so quick to dismiss. And we're so used to that now in the dating apps and things like that, where it's, the spark wasn't there, that chemistry wasn't, it grows. That grows over time when you get to know someone. On a first date or in 5 minutes at a speed date, you're not going to get to know the full person of who they are. You're just getting a little glimpse. And if that little glimpse seems nice, maybe just go on that date, try something new with them, go on a couple of dates, see who they are. And as I said, in 20 years, you're not looking for that, super sexy man that swept you off your feet. You're looking for a man that's good with your children, that's kind to you, that's supportive of you, that has all these good traits in them, that's honest and loyal, rather than someone who, you're just lusting over, because that's not going to last.
Like, you can have friendships with men and then over time, you basically friend zone them, or like women friend zoning men is basically what I'm talking about. And then over time you get to see a different side of them and they're like, wow. So like, if you were, even there's my friend Mark, I set him up on a date with a girl in Mullingar. They said they were too far away, but they got on like a house on fire.
Yeah.
And I was like, watch this space, please.
Yeah.
You might not think that there was anything romantic there now, but if you just keep in touch, I bet you
over time it can grow and it can turn into something that you never expected that it could. And, let's say you meet someone and they have a horrible personality and maybe they're technically good looking, but in your eyes that changes. They turn into somebody that's not good looking, or somebody you might say, it's decent looking, and you get to know them really well. In your eyes, that person could really change and morph into someone you're really interested in. And you have these feelings for, and a deeper emotional connection rather than just this immediate attraction.
Don't like to keep bringing up my fella here, but it was just that it made me think. It took him about 4 months, I feel like, to show a more weirder side of him.
Yeah.
So like, which I think was funny because I had already said that I liked him, but I remember going on holiday with my friend and we were in the hotel room, we were chatting away, and I said that he was great and whatever. And this was, I think we were only together a month or something, that he was great and lovely, decent fella, but he wasn't weird. And then she said, oh, You're very weird. And I was like, oh, I know. But like, he was so, respectful and, nice, decent, supportive, smart. He'd had all these qualities. And I said, and he's very straightforward. And I said, I didn't have to be second guessing. So I thought, look, I know he's not weird. He doesn't have this kind of quirks to him. Like, no, it's fine because he has so many good things. But anyway, then it took 4 months. Then he's weird as fuck.
Yeah,
it
probably weirder than you now.
It is, I know. But it's so funny that like often, just giving somebody some time, and it doesn't have to be, I suppose, in a romantic sense, but even keeping in touch and letting somebody get a bit more comfortable.
Just being themselves.
Yeah,
like we're so used to kind of, I think, safeguarding our emotions and our vulnerability nowadays that we don't put ourselves forwards, like even from all the posting on Instagram and all these social media platforms. We're curating this life that if I looked at my personal Instagram, those are lovely highlights from my life, but that's not what my daily life is. We're curating things constantly. And so if we were just to be our raw selves, would that person that you're with, that's who they're going to see. That's who they're living with, breathing with day in and day out. Like, do you love them for that? And do they love you for that?
How did you meet your husband?
At a lake bar in Vancouver in 3 a.m. Got a tap on the shoulder, asked me to dance. He does not dance.
Oh, asked you to dance. That's so cute.
I know, he does not dance. He was living in Vancouver for 5 years, and we didn't actually go on a date for about a month or so. We were texting a bit. I was traveling a lot for work. I wasn't really dating at the time, and when we did go on a date, we hit it off, and How long ago was that?
10 years ago.
Oh. Yeah. So neither of us were ever on dating apps. For myself, I think dating apps had just been a thing, started up at that point. For myself, I know I just get very emotionally attached to people really quickly. And so dating apps, it'd be horrendous for my mental health.
Yeah.
And he just wasn't one for he's not good with technology.
Oh, well, perfect. So that was good.
Exactly.
Do you want to dance? That is so cute. What kind of dancing was it? Was it just
God,
like
it was a dive bar? It was a dive bar. It was bad. And I did say no to him.
Oh my God, you didn't go dancing?
No. I said no to him. I was like, look at this drunk Irish man. Like, what is wrong with him?
And you never foresaw that you were going to move over to Ireland and then set up this business.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, that's the thing. You just never know where life takes you. We were together in Vancouver for about 2 years, and then he's like, let's move to Ireland for 1 year. We'll come back. That was never on the cards. Like, we moved here for a year, and now we've been here for 7 or 8 years now. Wow. 3 kids, house, marriage, like.
And how did you settle in after the year? Were you like, I love it here? Or was it like,
I did really like it here. Vancouver and Ireland feel quite similar to me in terms of like the people, the culture, and I think also because there's so many Irish people in Vancouver.
Oh yeah, that's probably it makes you feel exactly. At home. Yeah. Would it be the ideal thing, I suppose, for you to just be able to do this full time and, not have your day job as well? I feel like it's definitely going in that direction with the 150 events.
I love it. I love, for me, I don't look at this as a job whatsoever. Like, I genuinely love it. I'm obsessed with Your Friend, My Friend and connecting people and throwing the events and hosting this. I've like some of my really close friends I've met in Ireland, like Avril and Nikki, they run a lot of the events in Dublin are here and are from going to the events.
Oh yeah.
So I've made such a great community of girls as well.
Nice.
And that's, I think, another piece about the events. It's not just about meeting a fellow or meeting a girl, and getting in a relationship. You meet a really good community, and we see that, from the run clubs, especially of people coming back together. They might come to the first one on their own, and then the next ones they come in groups or together, which is so nice to see. And now we have this really good core community of people that are really welcoming and open, and it's lovely. It's great.
And tell us now, over the next, I suppose, couple of months, but you're going to have a baby. Who's going to be running this for you?
Yeah, I know. Well, that's why I'm relying on the girls to manage a lot of the events. I don't think anybody wants to see a 9-month pregnant woman at the events. Or a newborn baby at the events.
Over the next few months, do you know off the top of your head, like what ones are coming up? What is there summer you had a few summer ones. I think you were going off to an island.
So we have a big singles party that we're releasing tickets for soon. It's a summer barbecue, so it'll be about 450 people.
Jesus.
I know.
And you're always kind of 50-50 with this. 50-50.
So that's the thing. We always release our tickets in batches. So we always release a certain amount of ladies' tickets, certain amount of men's. When we get enough men signed up, then we'll release more women's tickets. So the tickets do sell out fast, but we do them in batches. So like people can keep checking back to see if more tickets are released.
Very good.
But yeah, we're doing run clubs, singles parties, speed dating, doing comedy nights now. We have a pub quiz coming up. We're also going to be doing a really fun event called the Chicken Rush. Where basically there's going to be a chicken running around Dublin and people will be put in teams trying to find this chicken and we're working together.
How do you find the chicken? How is it like a map? Is it a little...
Yeah, so you'll get, it's all through an app and there's a company in the UK that helps with this, and yeah, it's on a map and you're put in teams and you have to do little tasks at different venues as you go through the day, and once you complete them you get more clues to where the chicken is hiding, and then it's
oh my god, that's so much fun.
Yeah,
exactly. And you're just so concentrated on playing the game that you wouldn't even be overthinking.
And you get competitive together, which I think it bonds you as a team. And so we'll put people in teams based on compatibility and things like that.
Nice.
But you bring out that competitive streak in you, and
that's a great idea. Yeah, unreal. Okay, well that's it. Thanks, Sam.
Great.
Thanks a million. That was Samantha Keating from Your Friend, My Friend. I don't know about you, but I am loving that it's easier to get the Gen Z men to singles events. Like, fair play to them for putting themselves out there and just going for it. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love if you could follow, rate or share The Dating Orange with a friend. And if you're single and listening, maybe take Samantha's advice and say yes to getting out from behind the apps every now and again. Go around Mila Mahogwiv. I am The Dating Orange and I'll be chatting to you next week.
This show is part of the HeadStuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with HeadStuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.